Hi, welcome to Terrible But Great, a podcast dedicated to inspiration, growth, and laughter.
I'm Carter, and this is Josh. We're in our 20s just trying to figure everything out just like everybody else. So come along for today's episode where we'll be talking about how to stay motivated.
For me, with motivation, it's been such an up and down thing.
Yeah, it's not always a constant. Like, for me, there's definitely a lot of days where I'm just like, I don't want to do anything related to, the goals that I've set for myself.
Yeah.
That could be for a myriad of reasons, whether I'm just tired from the night before or I haven't seen the results that I've wanted, so it hasn't really pushed me to keep going. But then there's other days where I just get up and I'm ready. So let's talk about in those times where we're not already naturally motivated, how do we continue? And then
Like how to keep going.
Yeah, how to keep going.
It's hard. There's days where I wake up and I'm like, I'm ready to kill it today. And then other days I wake up and it's like, not only do I not feel like killing it today, like doing an amazing job, I don't feel like doing anything.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. And
so what does your day look like when you're having those days where you're just on top, you're ready to kill it? How do you set yourself up?
Number one thing that I do, sleep. Getting sleep the night before. If I don't get 8 hours of sleep, usually I've been going like 11 to 7 a.m. 7 a.m. has been like the best wake up time I found for me. I really want to get to 6 a.m. eventually, but right now it's 7 a.m. I know when I get 8 hours of sleep, I feel amazing. I feel absolutely amazing. Because then you wake up and you're like, wow, everything feels good. Everything feels normal. And then probably I'd say what I eat too. If I eat really bad I noticed if I don't work out. Usually first thing I do in the morning, I go straight to my workout. And I've noticed...
You eat before you work out?
No, I don't.
Nothing?
No,
Empty stomach?
Completely fasted.
Hard workout?
Weightlifting and running. Just water. I drink 2 bottles of water.
Bro, that could not be me.
You have to eat before.
I've done it. I just hate life.
Yeah. I mean, so I just drink water. I get as much water in my body as possible, and then I go and I work out. And that usually sets me up for the entire day. Because when I work out, I'm like, there's no way I can eat badly after this. It's like, imagine going to do an insane workout and then you go and get like a super greasy hamburger from somewhere else.
Yeah.
It just like, it doesn't feel right, So I notice first thing I do is sleep, put on my clothes, work out, and then I'm good.
So if you had any hiccup to that routine, would you still be as productive, do you think, through the day?
I don't know. Sleep can make a day great or it can make a day horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know if you notice, like, I'm super cranky when I get like 2-3 hours, 4 hours of sleep.
For me, it's less about sleep and more about food. Like, nutrition is huge.
That's way bigger for you.
It's huge. Just, I'm one of those guys where I'm like, food is my fuel. Like, I'd rather run on like race octane rather than just like 87. Like, I'm trying to have that jet fuel in my body.
You're putting in the 93.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to go the distance, right? And if I just have the wrong stuff in my body, I won't be able to go. There was a clip from Steve Harvey, and it's a pretty popular one, but he was saying most successful people aren't going to be getting a full 8 hours every single day.
It's true.
I know I've had times, you've definitely had times, up until like 2 a.m. editing clips, we're doing stuff to set up this podcast, other stuff for our music, all that. And it's not possible. There's so much stuff to be done. And so, I won't even say little time, but there's finite time for it to be accomplished. And
that's actually so funny that for you it's nutrition, for me it's sleep. Because for me, it's the complete opposite. Nutrition is important. I just mentioned it is something that makes me feel good. But I'm willing to sacrifice my nutrition for sleep. If that makes sense.
I'll sacrifice sleep for nutrition. Like, I will, if I know I have a long day, I will wake up an hour earlier just so I can make a decent breakfast, rather than getting up and going, well, here's like some sugary whatever, or like, I don't know, just nothing that actually has substance to it. I'm kind of a creature of habit. I won't branch out too much for my breakfasts in the morning, short of having like a nice brunch with my parents or something on a special occasion. But usually it's eggs in some way, shape, or form, either a French omelet or a hard-boiled egg, or I'm doing oatmeal, and that usually has like dates, blueberries, like just stuff that's really basic, really easy to...
High protein, all that.
Exactly, yeah. And just that, and then a bunch of water. I've been on a coffee kick lately, so I'll have that. But I had matcha for the first time in ever.
Dude,
And I actually enjoyed it.
I can't get into matcha.
Neither can I usually, but
There's like a certain type of person that goes to a coffee shop and orders matcha.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like they go there for the matcha.
Yeah, like that is, they know like they are a matcha person.
Yeah, like I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's no matcha dedicated cafe. Do you know why?
You should find one.
Do you know why there isn't?
Why?
Because it sucks.
Damn. Damn. Not me over here just like, oh, we should find that. That would be really cool. They're awful. Gross.
They suck.
Don't ever.
Did you ever ask me to get matcha ever? I swear to God, this podcast is not happening. But think about it. There's a boba dedicated shop. Yeah. There's a coffee dedicated shop. No matcha dedicated shop.
You know what? Let me come back from Australia and I'll let you know if I find anything.
I bet you can find a tea dedicated shop. Just tea.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like in Britain.
Whatever happened to Teavana?
I don't know. I never went.
I used to love Teavana because I wasn't into coffee growing up. I was a big tea guy.
Yeah.
And Teavana was owned by Starbucks.
Oh, really?
So like all my Starbucks like points.
You're like kind of European at heart.
I guess.
Like, you really are.
My parents like have me eating dinner like super late at night.
Yeah.
Just like Europeans.
Yeah.
I walk everywhere.
Anyway, we can definitely both agree that nutrition and sleep is super important.
Yeah.
That's crucial when it comes to staying motivated. Because if you have a cloudy mind, it's so hard to get things done. Yeah. I've noticed that. Like if I do not feel clear in any sort of way, I can't do anything.
A clear mind yields clear results.
Right.
We know what it looks like to set yourself up for success on a day that you're already ready to go. But on a day where you're not optimal, you're not fully rested, maybe you got 6 hours or 5 hours, or in my case, 3 hours, but we don't need to talk about that. Where would you go to still get the most out of a day when you know I have deadlines X, Y, and Z, all these things on my plate that I know need to get done, and I can't really afford to just sit back and have a nothing day as much as I'd like to? What for you have you found that? As
much as I hate last minute stuff and things like that, sometimes having a deadline that you need to get done kind of gets the job done.
So just knowing that there's something there where you need to get to a finish line.
Like at school or something, if there's an assignment that I need to get completed and I'm not getting sleep, I'm not getting my nutrition in, and then I know it's due that night, I'm going to do what I have to do to get it done. That drives me, that motivates me. But the thing is, like, that's not lasting.
No.
That's not going to be sustainable whatsoever. What about you? What do you do?
It varies. I'd say working out always pulls me out of a funk.
That's a good one. That's a great one, actually.
Just the release that I get from having a really good workout. That doesn't have to be weightlifting. Sometimes it's cardio. I'll do a 19, 20 miles on the bike and just be dripping sweat. And that will get me. Or I can, PR weightlifting, or sometimes, have the good old just sauna sit.
Sometimes if you need to get back on track with your motivation, I've noticed sometimes, like you said, working out or doing something different kind of gets you back into where you need to be.
Yeah.
It aligns you. Because when you realize why you're doing something and you take a step back from it and think about it, you're like, oh, this is actually awesome. I'm so motivated right now.
Yeah.
It's like, for me, I have triggers that motivate me. For example, music. I listen to my favorite artists. Okay, that gets me going. It makes me want to make music. Different things. I watch a good movie. Okay, I want to make a really cool film.
Yeah.
It's triggers too.
Yeah. So art for you.
Art is such a big motivator because I like seeing what other people can do and how that affects me and the output I deliver.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm very similar. I find a lot of inspiration in just random stuff. I guess it's not really random, but I love seeing the similarities between ourselves, like our organic bodies, and just the physical appearance of a lot of things in nature. So like how our veins are, laid out so similar to the veining of a leaf in a tree, or things like that where I'm like, wow, like I really feel like I'm part of this planet and I have to do my best to keep up with it and make it better. And I'm lucky enough to have passions that are rooted to what I believe will better the environment, that not being exclusive to like the state of our planet, but our environment being our neighborhoods or like our schools or just the people who I interact with. That's my environment. And I personally think, the music I make, this podcast
helps that.
I do, yeah. It definitely helps in some way.
Right.
Even if it's just one person that it helps, I think that's a really good increase.
And that's a beautiful why.
Yeah.
You always got to remember why.
Yeah.
When I'm lost in motivation, I just know that referring back to my why I'm doing something, it gets you right back to it.
That's
like you said,
huge.
It's creating a better environment. If that's what fuels you, use that fuel. It's hard staying motivated though when you're on social media all the time and you're seeing these like people just kind of
I'm 16, I just bought a Bugatti. Yeah. What the bro, no. That's not but that's made to look normal.
Yeah, it's made to look normal. And also on the flip side of that, not even just seeing these 16-year-olds with Bugattis, I'm talking about seeing these people who are just partying and drinking all the time and just doing nothing. And seeing your friends have a really awesome time and you're grinding at your craft because you're trying to stay motivated and disciplined. That's so hard.
Yeah.
That's super hard.
Yeah. We talked a little bit more about that in our FOMO episode. If you haven't watched, go check it out. It's a really great episode. Highly recommend. But I totally agree with that. It's really difficult.
Yeah. So it's important to just remember your why and remember that you're not doing that because XYZ.
Yeah. Obviously, with any part of motivation, it's not just going to be a blanket, like, I'm motivated to breathe.
Right.
There's going to be a goal behind it. And a lot of our goals are large. That's not comparative from like goal to goal, my goals to your goals. It's large in our eyes, right? For me, a small goal would be make sure I have breakfast every day. But a larger goal is make sure I complete my album, make sure I get all the stuff in line to have a really, really effective release. Those are larger goals. And for me, if I just say complete my album, it's not going to get done.
Right.
So breaking that down into little bits that are bite-sized and actually doable, that's where it gets really, really interesting and fun and rewarding, because I have these small little tick-off points where I can just go, great, I finished that. I can cross off that I shot X, Y, and Z for promo videos, or I finished writing the next 3 songs on my record. And
right.
Those things are smaller goals that I've broken down that lead to that bigger goal. And those are things that really, really help motivate me.
Writing it down, what you've done, seeing that on a piece of paper or on a note that you've completed, to me, that's like a game changer. That's so motivating because you're like, wow, I've actually done so much stuff. I didn't even realize it. And then you're so used to knocking yourself and like, at least for me, sometimes like, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. But writing it down and seeing what I did, awesome.
Yeah.
I've recently started actually a mood tracker.
Really?
Every single day. So what I want to do is I rate my mood. 0 will be kind of like a neutral day. -1 is a bad day. -2 is super bad. And then 1 is good. And then 2 is really good.
Okay.
So, and then every day at the end of the day, I rate my mood, what happened that day. And you can really see what drives your mood to change. What is bringing you happiness in life and what is bringing you sadness. And it's like a really good way to sort through that, because when you find out what's bringing you happiness and what's bringing you motivation, you can just make every single day like that for the most part.
Yeah. There's always going to be little parts that you can't really avoid.
Right.
But just
of course,
being able
life
to
happens.
Yeah.
But seeing that, okay, I know that my job is a huge contributor to my sadness.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to do a change.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs has this quote. It's like in this video that he did. It's in a speech that he did, I think, for Stanford University or something like that.
Something
something little. And he says every day he looks at himself in the mirror and he asks himself the question, is what I'm doing today making me happy? And if the answer is no for too many days in a row, he knows he needs to change something. And that was so powerful to me, because it's you really got to ask yourself, am I happy? Am I excited to do what I'm about to do today? And if the answer is no, you got to change.
Yeah. Most of us have the agency, especially as adults and young adults, we have the agency to change a lot of these things. We have so much freedom over the direction of our lives right now, but something like a 9-to-5 job can really make it feel like we don't have too many choices, because we've now become dependent on the money that comes from that. And it's taken so much of our time because we're trading our hours for a check. So it can become a little disheartening. And it's easy to say, well, you don't know my situation. But a lot of the really, really rewarding things are on the other side of that painful jump. So
it's like living for the weekend.
Yeah. Never do that. Like we were talking about this earlier. Like Kevin Hart has that quote where he's like, I don't want to live for a weekend because I'm only looking forward to 2 days out of a 7-day week. So I look forward to every Monday because I love my life. I love what I do. And I've made great strides to be able to get to that point in my life. But that didn't come without a lot of sacrifice.
And that should be the goal. that should be the goal for people our age, is taking this time and just trying everything that we want to do.
Totally.
Not sucking all our time in a 9 to 5. It's huge.
Yeah. It's so easy to get wrapped up into grind culture.
I know. We forget how young we are. We really forget how young we are. I see all these videos and stuff, and it's like, oh, you're so young. And I'm like, man, I feel so old. I'm turning 22.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Dude, I had one of my friends who was 26, and he was like, I'm a dinosaur. And I'm like, what?
But when you really, let's just zoom out for a second. We are young. Now is our time.
Totally.
This is our time to take the world, to make things happen. We're never going to have this freedom again in our life. We're going to have to take care of family when we're older. We're going to have to take care of our spouse. We're going to have to manage friendships and relationships and families. You know, we have our entire lives in our hands right now. We have the mental capability and we have the emotional capability to do it right now.
Yeah.
We have to, especially at our age. If we're not, it's a waste. That's my opinion.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm with that. We've talked about how to set ourselves up for success in staying motivated day to day. We've talked about breaking things down to make goals a bit more attainable by separating them into smaller, easier to reach goals and checkpoints. Then the big part, getting to those checkpoints and celebrating yourself for reaching that, that's what's going to keep you going. If you mark off that you completed a section or a part that's going to lead you to that bigger goal, and you just go, whatever, you're going to lose that drive really, really quick. And it gets really, really hard. I've been there. I'm so self-critical, and that's one of the things I'm working on right now, just giving myself a bit more grace. I would never talk to like you or my dad or my brother like the way I sometimes talk to myself, where I'm just like, that's not good enough. You got to keep going, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just, I got to treat myself with so much more love. And that can come in so many different ways, but oftentimes it's what's happening up here in my head and how I'm speaking to myself. That's a really, really important place to start. So celebrating myself in any of the small wins, regardless of, small, big, just call it a win.
Right.
Right? Like, a win is a win.
You got to be your own best friend.
Only dubs, bro.
Yeah. Only dubs. You got to be your own best friend.
Absolutely.
So important. And you ever hear the quote, wherever you go, there you are?
No.
Wherever you go, there you are. There's no escaping yourself. So it's important to learn to love yourself. Trust yourself too. If I say, like for me, if I say I'm waking up at 7 a.m. the next morning, I'm waking up at 7 a.m. the next morning because I don't want to lose that bond that I have with myself. The same way, if I had a best friend and we were supposed to meet up at 7 a.m. and then they flake or they don't show up, it's like, oh, I kind of lose trust in that person a little bit. Yeah. And the more that they do that, the less you trust them. And then it becomes harder and harder to set goals.
Yeah.
So that's why, for me, I've noticed if I follow through on my commitments that I set to myself, it's such a game changer. And
even falling off that saddle, like, you just got to get back on. I would much rather, and I have this so much going to the gym. I'll be in a stride where like 2-3 weeks in a row, I'm 5 days a week in the gym. I'm getting big. I feel great.
Feels so good.
Dude, so good.
Yeah.
And then I'll just have a week where I don't even go at all. And it's not because I just didn't want to work out. I told myself I was too busy. I had to get X amount of sleep so I could go to work the next day and actually show up with the right attitude.
Right.
Just all these things that sometimes get in the way of taking care of myself.
Right.
That's how I'll package it. But another thing I'm learning is like, I need to put myself first. And my producer, Stevie, gets on me so often about this. He's like, if you don't take care of your mental and your physical, you're not going to have a career. There's no such thing as putting your career over yourself because you can't have a career without yourself. Replace the career stuff with just life in general. You have to put yourself first. You have to make sure that you're in the right space, physically, mentally. It's so important.
There's CEOs that, you're so right, there's CEOs that run themselves down and then they die at a really young age. I don't know if you've heard of Brian Johnson.
Name rings a bell.
Brian Johnson is the guy doing the $2 million a year anti-aging routine.
Really?
It's really amazing stuff. So he's actually the inventor of Braintree Venmo. Which is really cool. Like the Venmo paying app.
Yeah.
He basically invented that. And he has now reduced his biological age by 5 or 6 years. It's pretty amazing stuff. And the way he's done that is the really strict sleep routine, a really strict nutrition routine, a really strict workout routine, all these things every single day. and he's just doing everything he can to use the science to reduce his age. It's pretty amazing stuff. But I saw in an interview somebody asked him, so when you were the CEO of Braintree Venmo and you were running yourself down, I mean, do you think you still could accomplish that with your really strict routine? Because like you were saying, you need to sacrifice things. And he was like, I probably could have accomplished more.
Wow.
Because I would have been taking care of my mental health. I would have been taking care of my physical health. And that would have allowed me to even do more. He goes, I've never felt more clear in my life. And that inspired me because it was like, whoa, it's true. You got to show up. It's like in our episode, Micro Habits for Success, we said you have to take care of yourself. And that's got to be a habit.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Self-love needs to be made a habit.
Seeking support from others.
Major. When
you're in those lows, going to somebody that you know is going to comfort you.
Sometimes it's not even just the comfort, but it's someone telling you what you need to hear, not just what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's easy to fall into a self-victimizing rut.
Yeah.
But surrounding yourself with people who are there for you and your goals and your visions rather than just you in the moment can really, really change the trajectory of your life.
It's a rare thing to find those people too.
Oh, so rare.
When you find somebody that believes in you, hold on.
Hold
on to them.
I like to pride myself that I'm good with words, but because I've truly felt that, I've experienced that more than once, it's really hard to put that into words.
Yeah.
I can just say I'm grateful because I don't know where I would be without that support. It's a different level of support and love and just belief overall. I wish that feeling upon every person.
I think number one secret to success is surrounding yourself with people that support you.
You can't do it alone.
We're
not made for that.
We're social creatures. We rely on each other. We're not strong on our own, like you said.
Oftentimes we'll probably hear like you're only as strong as the weakest link, but that feels like such like a negative undertone.
Yeah.
It's like...
And it's putting a lot of pressure on somebody else.
Just like one person. And it makes it easy to like look to somebody else. So
it also reduces like self-accountability.
Yeah.
You're only strong as somebody else that's weaker than you in the group. That makes no sense.
Yeah. I'm still trying to find like what that other saying would be. Like I want to find everything. I want to be uplifting.
Yeah.
I want it to support not only myself.
Like you're only as strong as the people that you support and the people that support you.
How you support others is how you'll be supported.
Right.
And that's as far as you'll go. So like
if you haven't found people in your life that support your goals the way you want them to, ask the question, am I supporting other people the way that I want to be supported?
Everybody has dreams and goals and aspirations. A lot of people just don't speak on them.
Or act on them.
Yeah, definitely act. If they're not speaking on it, they're definitely not acting on it. Well, not necessarily, but most likely they're not acting on it. If you're out with your boys or your girls or just with your friends in general, if it's not the MO of your group, I get it. It's gonna seem kind of mushy and out of the blue, but ask people, it's like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Where do you want to be in life? Like, not just the next party, not just your next romantic partner, not just, the next happening moment. What do you want to do? What are your aspirations? What are your goals? And if they don't have them, that's fine right there. But at least like spark that seed of like inspiration. If we're not growing, we're falling back. This world moves way too fast.
Yeah, you don't want to be left behind.
No.
Future's coming quick.
It's already here. Thank you so much for watching the episode. If you've got all the way to the end, please rate this podcast 5 stars on whatever service that you are watching or listening to this on.
And if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. Please give us a like. Please give us a comment. We try to answer as many comments as we can. So please do that. It really helps a lot.
Helps us grow, and we love making these podcast episodes. And
yeah, we'll see you next week.
We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you for watching. Terrible, but great.
Peace.